Hi, Goodreads. I'm Emily Schultz. This is my novel, Little Threats. It's out August 4th, 2020. I'm going to read from the beginning, and if you like what you hear, please add it to your bookshelf. November 3rd, 2008. Final assignment. Write about your victim. The dead girl never gets to write her own story. She never gets to shake her cramped hand after falling into the words for too long, like I get to do. The dead girl never gets to take a creative writing class, taught by an instructor from the local college who is nervous and excited about being in a prison for the first time. The dead girl doesn't get to put up her bloody, leaf-encrusted hand when the teacher asks, "Does anyone know what epiphany means?" Her side of the story is always unwritten, and that becomes the secondary tragedy. She's the only one who knows what went down. Everyone else is a tourist in her resting place, even me. This is what I know, and what I keep on imagining happened. In the woods, she looked battered and sunken, like a tossed-aside doll. At first, I thought it must be a game, an act. But Haley remained still, where she lay with her legs in the creek and the rest of her on the sand. And Ophelia in Doc Martens. "Haley," I said, kneeling beside her, "your mom is going to freak out." I saw then that blood filled Haley's transparent blouse. I tried to stand, but my legs were shaky, and my velvet skirt was heavy with water. Even then, I wasn't sure this was happening. The sand beneath her was dark, like an oil stain. I was coming down from the acid trip, and the air still felt scratchy as yarn, and the trees waved in time like music. I reached out and pushed Haley's shoulder, and thick blood poured out of her like she was a tipped cup. I sat back, trying to breathe. Haley was my friend, and she was falling apart, becoming part of the ground. I couldn't leave her like this. I leaned forward and hurriedly rearranged her, crossing her hands over the wounds to hide them. There was dirt beneath the nails, as if she'd gripped the ground at some point. One hand had a wound through it, a place where the skin gave way. Under the swaying trees of Blue Heart Woods, I fanned out Haley's hair, brushed it back with my fingers, trying to make her beautiful. The curls felt the way they always did, but why wouldn't they? Giving way to frizz, this reddish bush of it around Haley's face. I thought about the boy, Burke. There was always a living boy to go with a dead girl. I did not remember anything between getting out of his car the night before and this moment now. I thought he could never have done this. I'd seen him care about her. Sometimes I thought more than he cared about me. Burke had left us by the woods, angry at me. Then I was angry at Haley because she left me alone on acid. I remember seeing her walk into the dark woods singing "Feed the Tree" as the night lowered on her like a sheet. "Silver baby, come to me. I'll only hurt you in my dreams." Then nothing, until I was in my room after the sun came up. I said, "Haley," and jumped out of bed, knowing I needed to find her. And I did. This would be Haley's burial, I reasoned, so I arrayed several twigs and branches around my friend's head, like a Renaissance halo. I dug into my purse and found a pair of fold-up nail scissors. I reached out and took a lock of Haley's hair between my fingers. I apologized, even as I snipped away a curl, as if I could apologize for the future, that it was no longer her story. I tucked the trimmed hair into a side pocket in my purse where it settled next to a tampon. My sister, Carter, had always said that when something happened to me, it was like it had happened to her. Just one of those twin things. I knew she would call the police, so I tried not to tell her about Haley. I was afraid that if someone could do this to her, he could do it to me. But then more terrible thoughts came and really never stopped coming. What happened? Who did this? In the end, I wasn't good at secrets, not at that age anyway. I went back to the woods, and after I got home, I managed to keep my silence for about half an hour. Before I confided in Carter, I stashed the orange curl between the pages of Jane Eyre. The strands became flattened and dull inside the book, like the hair a child might unthinkingly cut off a doll. It didn't stay together, pretty, the way I had hoped it would. Kennedy Wynn, Heron Valley Correctional Facility. Again, it's from Little Threats. It's out August 4th, 2020. Please add it to your bookshelf.